If you're too frontside dominant in your delivery, there's a high chance that you're struggling with a couple of things like not getting enough hips to show the separation, not allowing your backside to really get into the back leg and just rotate yourself out of that backside. And you're also more than likely struggling with flying open. Now, there's a couple of reasons why those things happen. Not everyone should be bucketed into the same category, as athletes all have different preferences. Some athletes actually do prefer to pull more from the front side, while others prefer to pull more or push more from the back side. Now, either way, there's always a spectrum in every single thing that we do. So even if your preferences are more aligned towards pulling from the front side, or if your body's just like being trained to pull from the front side because it doesn't know how to integrate everything. In this video, we're going to show you what that balance is. And if you are struggling with those things, what are things that you can do to just help rewire your brain to help everything rotate from the backside. Now, before we get into the video, my name is Anthony Rodriguez, coach and founder of Versatile Athletics, where we help athletes across every single level from the high school, junior college, Division I, and the professional level increase their velocity while helping them understand how their bodies naturally prefer to move. Being too frontside dominant could be a big cause of why velocity sometimes stalls for a lot of these athletes. And those athletes more specifically, they range more into like the low 80s mile an hour range. What's happening here, to give you guys a visual of what that looks like, but essentially as you're riding down the slope, that front side, whether it's that front leg or that glove side, they're both actively trying to reach out to pull you outward. So essentially you end up looking like this into front foot strike. The back leg really isn't rotated. Everything is flying open. Or other athletes who have high amounts of reach, what they tend to do to counteract that is they try to sit all the way back here. So you may have something that looks this way. Take these with a grain of salt, because again, not everyone that kind of does that has the same issue. But for the most part that I've seen, those are positions that they kind of get into. How do we fix that? Because it's not ideal. Of course, there's a lot of other things that we use on the back end, and I'll put this athlete as an example. So when he first came to us, he was struggling with flying open. He wasn't rotating the back leg as efficient, and it was causing his velocity to stay low. He was throwing around 76 at the time. We got him up to around 84, and the main things that we did, because it wasn't just drill, we needed to rewire his brain how to think about his delivery. And for his preferences, actually, he did also prefer to pull from the front side, but it was too on that dominant side. So we just needed, again, to backtrack and then just help his central nervous system just kind of get rid of how he patterned himself to then be repatterned into being more backside dominant first. And by backside is not necessarily the back leg, could be the back leg and the back arm, or everything from the backside itself. There were mobility components that we did attack for him. We attacked heavily the T-spine, because if you have better T-spine mobility, that's gonna allow him to be able to unload the backside a little bit better. So we didn't just want to go in blinded and just said, hey, here's all the drills. Of course, he had all these different limitations that we had to take care of. And essentially, even if we just added the drills first, they weren't going to benefit him the best, because he just wasn't going to be able to get into those positions. So we targeted that first. We improved his mobility on the T-spine. And then, of course, the pelvic area was also part of our focus there too. When it came down into the drills, the cues weren't really digging in for him. So that's when we kind of knew, okay, we have to really take a step back, rebuild him from the ground up, and teach his body step by step what he needs to do to start originating more power or more sequencing from the backside forward. What we started to do, we reverse chain all of his drills. So reverse chaining or backwards chaining is you break down the delivery, of course, but the drills that you give start at the end of the delivery, and then they work themselves back up onto the beginning of the delivery. So again, the ending of the delivery is just the kind of release part, or you could just have an isolated arm movement. Then the beginning of the delivery is just obviously from the set position. So what exactly did we do step by step? His first drill that we started working on, because I wanted him to think from the pelvis up, not necessarily from the upper half and the front side in his delivery. So his first drill, we started off with a 10-toe abbreviated hip unloading drill. And with this drill specifically, here we're isolating kind of like the top half. But what we're trying to do in this drill, as he's trying to get that rhythm, is we're trying to incentivize for him to think about the hip more so unloading or firing first. And as he's doing that, that top half is gonna get a slight little delayed, right? So we're already teaching, okay, ground up, front side pulls first, and then the back leg is just kind of like staying there, right? So this is our first step into reverse engineering everything for him. So as he's thinking about that pelvic firing, right? He's gonna grab the elasticness that he's getting from the top half to then just swing the top half forward. Right after that drill, we want to go into a separational drill, right? So we're already focusing on the release aspect of it. Only thing is that we're bringing in the lower half first. Second drill after that, we did a rhythm separational drill. And for this drill specifically, his thought was to ride first with the lower half, especially with the back leg. Like concentrate on his back leg being what rides him forward. And as he's riding forward, of course, he's creating that disassociation. So this drill, we kind of gave him, here's how to do it, and then you complete it. So essentially what we did, for example, is the first rhythm is just like kind of like for show, like, okay, for him to feel. And then the throw after that is just a full throw. But again, if he was to do this normally, he'll more than likely just kind of want to pull from the front side, just as I did there. Instead, we're focusing heavily like, hey, just allow the back leg to get you forward with a rhythm, and then you just complete it by yourself. After that, we progressed into these two different drills, which was an abbreviated lasso hip unloading drill and then an arm down hip unloading drill. The abbreviated one, as we're here, we're gonna start off first because again, we're reverse engineering everything. We just went from this isolating top half separation. Now we're going into kind of like the stride phase at this cock position. So same thing applied here. We incentivize them to think more from the ground up and especially the backside up. So as he's in this position, he's gonna be rotating in to rotating out, right? So the backside is just gonna be opening up. And then once he achieves this rotation, that's when the top half could go, starting rotation from the backside. After that, we regressed a little bit more. So now is the arm down. Again, go from here to here. You see as how we're regressing everything. So from the arm down position, same exact thought. We teach him to rotate first from the back side and the lower half. And then after that, the front side could go. So you're already seeing how we're breaking down each part of his delivery. Instead of having him think to pull here, we're having him in confined like movements, rethink how to move and start the movement first. After that drill was done, here's where now we regressed it more to like the beginning of the delivery. And for this drill specifically, this was probably like his toughest drill because you kind of have to like get a rhythm and then like set yourself apart from that rhythm and then just use what you felt to just get it moving. So it was a step back unloading rhythm drill. So essentially as he's stepping back, he's up here, he's gonna feel what it's like to ride. Again, everything is thinking from the backside, ride and unload from the backside, then go back up and then obviously get the throw in, you know, without like getting that rhythm. And essentially what happens here is like after you get that rhythm, you almost like want to chase that same rhythm again, and then you end up kind of like looking a little bit awkward. So even for the guys like trying it, if you're watching this video, once you get that little rhythm action, forget about the rhythm and all you're doing is just chasing the movement and rotation through the backside. Again, we're having him focus loading, unloading from the backside. This is where we need to be, brain, right? And then he goes out and completes the entire motion. So all of these drills just help him reverse engineer and understand, hey, my front side is a bit too dominant and we didn't want to take that away because it's part of his preferences. We just wanted to let the front side know like, hey, we're also back here and we need to assist you so that not only we can not have any arm pain, but so we can also throw harder and compete and be more optimal. After we've taught him that, he's been able to use his backside so much better. He's finally rotating the back leg, which he could never rotate the back leg before just because of these drills. In a nutshell, all we try to do was just rewire his brain to not think so much about the front side, but now integrate the back side. Of course, this gave him great results. We took his velocity up to around 84 is where he's at right now. I mean, he just shot up. Like right after we did that, that's when he really shot up in velocity. Of course, that's not like the end all of everything. We've been, of course, targeting his mobility. We've been targeting, you know, the stuff that he's been doing in the gym. And this was also very special for him because we targeted what his natural motor preferences are. So obviously this is not a one size fit all, but it is a great way to rewire yourself. Again, this is all that I have for you guys today. Hopefully this helps if you are struggling with this. And if you want to see how we help our athletes do this at scale, feel free to watch our 3-step process down below in the description as well. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.